I'm Danny Epperson inside the intriguing Commodore Dinner Theater in downtown Portsmouth. Thanks for joining me for WHRO's Cinema 15 and our presentation of 1974's hard-boiled classic, Chinatown. Los Angeles, 1937. A beautiful blonde walks into the office of a private detective and asks him to follow her cheating husband. Sounds like a simple job, but it doesn't stay simple for long, because this is Chinatown. Roman Polanski's 1974 film is a masterpiece of American cinema. 45 years after its release, Chinatown still feels like a modern take on classic noir. This movie is a dense thriller with unforgettable performances, cinematography, and production design. But Chinatown's real secret weapon is its script. Robert Towne's screenplay is considered one of the most perfectly structured and best written scripts in the history of film. It started over dinner. Blockbuster producer Robert Evans asked Towne to rewrite Truman Capote's screenplay for The Great Gatsby. But Towne was interested in an idea of his own that night. He pitched a story about a hard-boiled private eye who gets tangled up in corruption, murder, and a municipal water scandal. 6 weeks later, Towne delivered a first draft, and Evans went in search of a director. Roman Polanski had returned to Europe in 1969 after the tragic murder of his wife Sharon Tate. He wasn't interested in returning to Hollywood to direct, but Evans somehow made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Jack Nicholson was the only choice for the lead. Towne wrote the role of Jake specifically for his longtime friend and roommate. Several actresses were considered for the role of Evelyn Mulray, but Faye Dunaway possessed an air of mystery that won her the part.
Very personal. It couldn't be more personal.
In a nod to his film noir roots, John Huston, director of The Maltese Falcon, stars as the sinister Noah Cross.
You may think you know what you're dealing with.
In the summer of 1974, Chinatown was a hit with audiences and critics.
Live, the 47th Annual Academy Awards presentation.
The film was nominated for 11 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Actor.
Jack Nicholson, he's nominated for Best Actor this year.
But it only took home one Oscar for Towne's original screenplay. Chinatown probably would have walked away with more if it wasn't for another 1974 masterpiece called The Godfather Part 2. I'll be back after the film to tell you about the single blonde hair that brought the whole production to a screeching halt. But for now, pour yourself a glass of water, don your favorite fedora, hit the lights, and enjoy Chinatown. Now, that's not exactly what I would call one of Hollywood's happiest endings. But that bold creative choice is part of what makes Chinatown such a remarkable film. Director Roman Polanski and screenwriter Robert Towne didn't see eye to eye on the ending. Towne wanted Noah Cross to die, but Polanski insisted on that tragic twist. Producer Robert Evans sided with the director. In later interviews, Polanski credits much of the film's success to Evans for taking such a creative risk.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
That famous last line and the idea behind the film's title came from a conversation that Towne had with a friend who worked as a vice cop in Chinatown. The cop told him that there was such a language and culture gap that the police could never tell if they were making things better or worse. So Chinatown became a metaphor for a place that outsiders would never understand. Even though the final film was flawless, behind the scenes wasn't always smooth sailing. Robert Evans once called the first day of production, quote, the start of World War III. Polanski and Towne fought over the script from the beginning. Eventually, the director had the writer banned from the set. Polanski smashed a television set because Nicholson couldn't pull himself away from a Lakers game. And one day, the director was so frustrated by one of Faye Dunaway's stray hairs that he just plucked it right out of her head. The actress was furious. She stormed off the set, shut down filming for the afternoon, and demanded his termination. Polanski didn't limit his confrontation to behind the scenes. You may have recognized him as the gangster that gives Giddies his unfortunate nose job. Robert Towne originally planned Chinatown as the first film in a Los Angeles trilogy. Towne and Jack Nicholson reunited for the sequel in 1989. The Two Jakes was written by Towne, with Nicholson directing and returning on screen.
I know how edgy you must be, Julius, but...
My friends call me Jake.
Well, that makes two of us.
Unfortunately, the film wasn't a hit, which ended any hope for a third. At least, we'll always have Chinatown. That's all I have for this week. I'm Danny Epperson, and I will see you next time for WHRO Cinema 15 and another classic movie. I'm Danny Epperson. Here's a classic movie quiz. 1974's Chinatown stars Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway.
You must have had a reason to ask me that.
No, I'm just a snoop.
Nominated for 11 Academy Awards, how many did the film win?
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
1 for Best Original Screenplay. You provide the popcorn, the couch, and the TV. We'll provide great movies like Chinatown. Watch Cinema 15, Saturday night at 8 on WHRO TV 15.